or to offer in terms of legislation in light of the fact of news this morning of more news of children unable to crawl, children unable to swallow, due to being homeless, living in confined spaces and not having a natural chance of development, and the massive physical and mental damage that your government is doing to a whole generation of thousands of children. So I've no confidence in the Minister, and I'll support the motion next week, but I've no confidence in the policy either, because next Thursday there'll be a march coming to the Dáil here on the 5th of December. We've been asked as TDs to stay and debate policy, but we've done that already. The land is there, the money is there, but there's no political will. 1,181 houses built by local authorities last year. In the Taoiseach's own constituency, 90 acres of vacant land, but we've 200 kids going to be spending their Christmas in B&Bs and hotels in Dublin West. So, Taoiseach, we need a water charges or repeal-style movement to wake you lot out of your lethargy and lack of interest in working class people who are suffering the brunt of this. We'll debate, but that's what I would appeal to people to do, is to build such a movement, because you simply don't care.
Taoiseach, well, sorry, just 1 second. Custom and practice suggests that the Taoiseach takes questions from leaders, but if the House, perhaps the Minister may have more up-to-date information. Minister.
Well, thank you, Nassar. It hasn't been the practice on questions on promised legislation to date.
In my time in the chair, but anyway, sure, we're pragmatic.
Thank you, Lasca Corla. It's very regrettable, Deputy, that the Social Democrats have decided to use valuable Dáil time. Deputy, you mentioned the motion, so I think that gives me a right to mention it as well. I think it's very regrettable that they're using their Dáil time for this stunt. I don't recall ever the Social Democrats bringing forward one piece of legislation in relation to the housing challenge that we face. I don't remember either of the deputies attending once in committee to quiz me on Rebuilding Ireland when we have the quarterly reports, and the many times that I'm in committee to deal with those issues. So it's regrettable that they've chosen to use their times for a stunt rather than bringing forward an idea that they think might get the support of this House and actually get through and do something. We're constantly working to help families and children out of homelessness. We do that, first of all, by trying to prevent them from going in the first place. And if you look at Dublin alone this year, so far, for every 2 families that have presented to homeless services, we've found a home for 1 immediately. And so far this year, for all of those families and children, I'm not talking about what you think you know, Deputy. I'm talking about...
Sorry, the Minister. Sorry, Deputy Coppinger.
I'm talking, thank you, Lass. I'm talking about the actual facts and figures that come from each of the local authorities in Dublin, for which I'm responsible. I'm also talking about the 800 to 900 families that have exited emergency accommodation so far this year into homes. Roughly 1/3 of those have gone into new social housing. The other 2/3 have gone into the private rental sector. That's not ideal. We're trying to reverse that, and that's why we have Rebuilding Ireland in the first place. And that's why next year we'll build more social housing homes than were built in any year this century, in any of the boom years. That's our commitment to social housing.